Hey everyone, I'm Jacinta Maree, author of Soulless, the Immortal Gene. You're listening to my exclusive interview with Elaine Goodman on gogoodman.com.au.
Welcome back to the Elaine Gogoodman Show here on 88.3 Southern FM. Our guest is in the studio. Let's figure out what mic she's on. I'm going to guess that mic. Jacinta, can you hear me?
I can.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. That's good. Jacinta Maree. First of all, it's a really cool name. It sounds like a name and a second name, but is that your actual surname?
It is. Oh, no, it's my middle name.
Oh, hang on. Hold on. Have I got the wrong mic?
Does this work?
Let's go again.
Hi.
That's better.
Okay.
I don't know what's wrong with that mic. Yep, go to that mic.
No problem.
Poke your head around the computer so I can still see who I'm talking to.
Yeah, so Marie's actually my middle name.
Okay.
Jacinta Maree.
Yeah, thought so. Stage name.
Exactly. Pen name.
So let's start off. You've got your book Soulless here, so we are going to do a bit of a live reading. I'm very excited about that. I even have background music.
Oh, awesome. Wow.
I'm prepared. I just throw some curveballs at you. You describe yourself as a chocoholic with an obsession with dragons, video games, and Japan. How do all these things link?
Oh, wow. Okay, well, chocoholic, I feel like, is almost self-explanatory. I love chocolate to the point I need to have it every day. I would almost change my dinner for dessert. So I probably don't look it, but I'm a huge sweet eater. I guess my obsession with dragons is probably linked with my obsession with the fantasy writing style. Why dragons? I mean, come on, they're huge. If you've watched How to Train Your Dragon, you've got Toothless there, which is really, really adorable. They just seem like such an impressive beast. I mean, who wouldn't want some fire-breathing lizard that can fly as a pet? And lastly, the tea, did you say? I was obsessed with tea?
No, Japan.
Japan. Well,
how did you get tea?
I love tea. It's on my bio as well. I'm a huge tea and art collector. Japan, I mean, I've been there about 3 times, and I just love everything about it. Their food, their culture, the people, the language. I would live there if I could speak Japanese properly.
Can you speak it at all?
A little bit. Ohayo gozaimasu, watashi wa Jacinta desu. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Stuff like that. I don't know if you know what I said.
I heard Ohio and I heard Jacinta.
Good morning. My name is Jacinta. Pleased to meet you all. Please look after me. It's like a greeting.
Please look after me? What kind of greeting is that?
I think that's how it's translated into English, but it's almost like, please be kind to me.
Hi, I'm Elaine. Don't hurt me.
Yeah, please be nice to me. I hope I got that right, but that's my understanding to it.
The big Japanese listenership will be up in arms.
I know. Please don't yell at me if I got it wrong.
Were you a big reader as a kid?
Surprisingly, no. No, I wasn't.
Too much sugar in you.
Too much sugar, right. I watched a lot of anime and manga stuff, especially in high school, and I think I spent 90% of my time actually writing. So a lot of my time wasn't spent behind other people's books, but just trying to create my own, which might be a bit weird, but I was that child, unfortunately, in the family, that black sheep.
So did you get along with your siblings?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
What did you share in common with them?
Our surname. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. Maree?
No. Surname. No, I mean, I got an older brother that's about 2 years older than me and a younger sister that's 4 years younger, so we're pretty close in age. We're just like any other normal family. My brother is very...
what do you call a normal family?
We sit around having dinner at 6:30.
Okay, sure.
Talk about work, talk about school. I am the oddball in the sense that I like the anime and manga side of things and writing and really, like, even cosplay. I'd love to do that. If I knew how to sew a costume properly, I would do that. But I think they're a bit more in the, I would say mainstream, for lack of a better word. But yeah, I guess like everyone to their own, you know.
What's your earliest memory of writing something that you were impressed with?
Ooh, impressed with, not just something I wrote. Okay, I guess...
Well, that question would be too easy.
Impressed with, I guess my biggest achievement was when I was in grade 5. Actually, I wrote a story called Magic Goes 6 Different Ways. It's like a really bizarre, stupid thing. But it was the first time I actually wrote something that went beyond 10 pages. It was 180 pages long. And I never showed anybody, and I don't even think I have the file anymore, unfortunately. It would have been really awesome and kind of embarrassing as well to go back and just read over how I used to write and what went through my mind. But that was my first book, really.
And what year was that?
I was in grade 5.
Grade
so
5.
I was about...
11?
Yeah, 10, 11, something like that.
Jacinta, when did writing become a dream for you?
Writing came a dream when I was very young. I would say I was in about grade 2. So I was probably, 7 years old or something like that.
7, 8, yeah.
Yeah. And my auntie actually gave me a gift of one of those little silly books where you can buy it for whoever. You can either go on the adventure with Barbie or adventure with whatever, and they put the child's name in the book. And so you go like Barbie and insert name here. So it was Barbie and Jacinta went on an adventure. And I loved it so much. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I wish I could go on like these adventures all the time. So I started writing to immerse myself in these different worlds. And I guess ever since then, I always said to my parents, hey, I want to write. I want to do it. And it didn't become a reality until I was about finishing high school, when I had a teacher, my literature teacher, come up to me and said, like, hey, you've got something here. You can actually do it. So I was like, oh, wow, okay, I'll do it for real. So, and I guess ever since then, it's just taken off for me, which is really awesome.
How long did it take for you to become happy to sell what you were writing?
Oh, I think I'm still kind of trying to get there. I guess it goes with a lot of artists with whatever their craft is. Like they look at something they've done years ago and they can see all the faults in it. And that being said, I know that I will have errors and whatnot, but a lot of people do praise my first series, My Demonic Ghost, which now I can't even look at it without cringing because I'm just like, oh, that writing is so bad.
Yeah, I can't even listen to some of my old interviews.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess you've always just got to believe that what you're doing is, good enough. It's a constant struggle. It's constant. I don't think you'll ever be 100% happy. Even now, I'm like, oh, I can do better. And I try, so yeah.
Now we're going to start getting more into the deeper side of writing, which is fun. Your most recent release is called Soulless. What can you tell me about this book? Okay,
awesome. Yes, so Soulless is the first book in a trilogy. The idea of Soulless came about the belief in the soul and in reincarnation. And I wanted to explore a world where reincarnation not only, it exists, but it affected everybody. But there was a curse to it where every life you live, you remember it. So that cycle can happen, 10, 11 times, and you're just trying to think, what would the world be like when everyone has 11 different people in their heads and they've died 11 different times, loved 11 different times, had children, mums, dads, everyone
So their original kids may still be alive.
Exactly, yes. And you lose that bondage with other humans because it doesn't mean anything anymore. This isn't your kid. This is just a human capsule harvesting somebody else's soul, So the world goes crazy. And that's basically what the world of Soulless is. There's this reincarnation-plagued society where everyone's just crumbling beneath their own madness.
When you say you want to explore the idea, I'm not sure, because explore to me would be like research it, but you've come up with your own idea of it. Is that still counted as exploring when there's no actual like fact behind it?
I guess it's mostly the psychology behind of it that I want to explore. You're right, there is no fact behind really somebody being reincarnated unless you go and watch those old documentaries of those kids over in England.
We don't need to do that.
But yeah, I guess it's more about the psychology behind it, which I'm really fascinated behind. How would people treat each other? What would happen? The schizophrenia, the depression, the paranoia. So I can do research into that type of background. But the actual, you're right, the actual reincarnated part is very hard to...
It's very, like, your idea,
your
you gotta make own interpretation of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so, on my sheet it says, I want to read some book. I want to hear some of the book. So, are we just going to start from the beginning, or where do you want to start from? It's up to you.
I think I might start a little bit further into it.
Okay. Wait, I've got some cool music. So... turn it down a little bit.
Oh, that's awesome.
Did I get the right music?
Yeah. Actually, that's pretty cool.
Does that light have like a dial on it? There's a light switch over there. I can go turn the light. Well, you start reading and I'll play around in the studio.
Okay. All right.
Is that too loud for you?
Nah, that's fine.
No? Okay, cool.
All right. So I'm starting at chapter 27, just to give you a bit of a backstory. The main character is called Nadia. She's about 19 to 20 years old, and she doesn't have any reincarnated... You just dimmed the lights. She doesn't have any reincarnated memories, and she doesn't carry something which is called a soul imprint, which is the evidence of a soul inside the body. And she's been taken on a ride with a ex-convict called Diesel. And right now they're trying to escape the elite who are trying to hunt her down. So, backstory there. So, chapter 27. To fight off the deep chill coming in with the night, I went around collecting sticks for a fire. I sat with my hands out over the dying embers, trying to rub some warmth back into my fingers, while Diesel sat on the other side of me, watching the red cool down to black. Despite our best efforts, our camp consisted of some pulled over branches for shelter and rope for a clothesline. Even in the warmth of the fire, Diesel's body trembled. Sweat coated him. The pink that marked his cheeks had gone pale and withered. Silently, I watched him suffer. Even when he tried to sleep and curled into a ball, his body jerked and shook with relentless shivers. I felt sick, being unable to help him as the shallow rasp of his panting dragged nails down my skin. Nights were cruel out here. The hours tipped over and the deep set of southern winds frosted the grass blades around our feet. When I did manage to doze off, it came in short episodes like I was micro-sleeping. After a few hours, I woke to the sounds of footsteps heading down the hillside. It was still considerably dark as I turned myself around, wise-eyed, to find Diesel was sitting up with his back turned to me. He had collected more sticks, but the fire wouldn't start with so much dampness in the air. He rocked back and forth and muttered under his breath, "What do you mean you've lost her?" He scratched and ruffled the back of his hair again. "Then where the hell is she?" "Diesel?" I called up as I eased myself into a sit. He didn't turn around to acknowledge me. "I gave you one simple job, Jacob, just one." "Diesel," I said more sternly, as I reached over and shook his shoulder. He span and grabbed my wrist and shoved me back. "How many times do I have to tell you? Get her now, now!" He suddenly yelled. I shuffled backward quickly out of his reach. Diesel's dropped his chin, talking to someone over his shoulder. "Can you do me a favor and just listen to me for once?" Before I could say anything, his posture and tone suddenly changed. "What are you doing here?" Are you talking to me?" "Who the hell are you?" he snapped as rage tightened his voice. "Are you one of them? Are you spying on us?" He shoved me against the tree trunk again. "Stop it! I'm not spying on you. You're hallucinating." "No, of course not." He turned back around. "I'll look for more firewood." He wandered back off into the wet forest, unbeknownst to all the sticks he had collected piled near his feet. Oh my God, this is getting out of control. For an hour, I sat waiting for him to return. I heard him moving around the banks of the creek, muttering non-stop. I couldn't sleep despite the persistent itch that burned my eyes. I couldn't get Diesel out of my head, even as I laid myself back down. Eventually, I no longer could hear his mad mutterings above the native birds. Morning rose and pulled back the night in its icy embrace. Diesel hadn't returned. As I stood, I balanced myself on one leg and leaned against the tree trunk. My entire body ached. My legs shuddered with a constant beat, and my muscles tightened to my bones, shrunk from the cold. By the time I found Diesel, he had been hacking into a tree log for hours. He was carving into the bark repeatedly, until the wood was tiny splintered chunks. Diesel? He turned around and looked at me over his shoulder. His hands were raw with blisters, his face sunk from exhaustion and insomnia. He was sick, really sick. He lowered his hand with the blade and looked at me suspiciously. "Are you okay?" I asked. His eyes darted from left to right, chasing down a thought, when he then dropped his head and ruffled the back of his hair roughly like a dog again. "Diesel, talk to me. Do you know who I am?" Dark brown pupils dilated as his face slackened with surprise, as though looking at me for the first time his brows scrunched and his eyes scanned up and down my body, trying to pinpoint my face. "Nadia, this is real, isn't it?"
When you're reading that back, are you subconsciously critiquing it yourself?
Oh, I'm just trying to read the words right now so I don't fall and stutter over myself. But no, I'll never stop critiquing it, I think. I'll always if I said this instead of that, if I made more of a focus, this, oh yeah. So I try not to, especially when I'm reading aloud to somebody.
Have you ever read that aloud to anybody?
No, I haven't. I don't usually read any of my stuff aloud because I'm the worst stutterer when it comes to reading things. My mind goes too fast from my mouth and I jump over the place. So no, I don't make a habit of it.
This book claims we are the generation that laughs at death. What does that mean?
It means they don't have any fear, any respect, or any emotion towards death, as they don't fear it anymore because they know they're coming back. So death is laughed at, that they can kill themselves, kill whoever, and they're coming back. It's no longer a threat to them, to their existence. Kind of the power is lost.
Have you thought of the political problem of overpopulation?
Oh, well, if anything, this has actually caused a decrease in the population because it's not so much that their bodies won't die, their souls won't die. So, they kill themselves over anything. I know that sounds quite dark and... but if they don't like the way they look, they can kill themselves. If they don't like where they're born, they can kill themselves. And there's no, medicine is almost if I've been diagnosed with a really terrible, terrible disease, I wouldn't bother trying to live through it. I'd be oh, well, next body. That's how the mentality works in this reality, in this world. So if anything, the humanity is dropping in numbers because everyone's just they don't care anymore. Just easy, next life.
Oh, God.
I know, I'm sorry, it's so dark.
So dark. It's like a dishwasher. If it breaks, you just get a new one.
Exactly right. Why bother trying to fix it? You can just get a brand new one the next time round.
You have 5 books. We'll read a little bit more shortly. You have 5 books under your belt, and you're just a little bit older than me. Did you ever have a goal of how often you wanted to release a new book? Well,
I wanted to release at least 2 a year, but I'm so slow. I don't think I'll be able to. It takes me about a year to write a book. So that's not including editing and publishing.
And proofreading.
Oh my God, the proofreading. And you have to go through beta readers and all of that stuff, which takes up a lot of time. So I would ideally like to release 2, but right now I'm sitting with one a year. I'm very slow.
Not too bad when you think musicians release an album every 2 years.
Yeah, that's true. But I look at the other authors and they can release 2, 3 titles a year, 1 title a month sometimes. I'm just
one title a month?
Oh, some can do it. Some can do it.
That's probably their full-time job.
Yeah, I would hope so. It makes me feel better.
Yeah. You'll get there one day. Your chosen genre is death, apocalypse, and the other side. What fascinates you about death?
The danger.
Creeps the hell out of me.
It's the danger behind it and the mystery. Like, it's mysterious. No one knows. There's no definite answer. So I'm like, why not explore or, think about and ponder all the different possibilities that what could be beyond death, what happens if death wasn't there, like darkness, fear. It's really intriguing. And I think that keeps some excitement in my stories is like the danger aspect of it.
Have you been to a psychic before?
A psychic? Yeah. Funny story. I have tried to go to psychics before, like especially tarot card reading, because I'm very fascinated with it. I've tried to contact about 3 different, all of them cancelled on me the last minute, not wanting to, like, no reasons why they're like, yeah, no, sorry.
You didn't pay them beforehand,
No, I
did you?
didn't pay. No, thank God. I'll be very angry. No, I didn't pay, but I just thought it was very sus that none wanted to talk to me or do anything like that. So I'm like, okay.
Interesting. Maybe they heard something over the phone.
Maybe they think...
I was listening to an interview with John Edwards this morning that he did on the ABC, and he'd be one person I reckon you could ask what happens in the afterlife.
Really?
Why not? If he's in contact with so many people that have passed on, surely they can tell him what happens after death.
You'd think someone would have asked the question. Yeah. By now. Maybe you should Google that, see if he has an answer.
Yeah, send him a question.
Yeah.
Do you ever find you overthink about death and you just need to take a step back?
Oh,
does it become too intense sometimes?
Sometimes, especially in the genre that I'm writing, as you probably heard, it is quite sad and dark.
And you need to put in as much detail so it's entertaining for the reader.
Exactly. There's some scenes in there which are so grotesque that I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry to whoever's reading this. But I feel like if I didn't do it properly, like the experience wouldn't be there and they wouldn't be scared. They wouldn't feel the shivers. They wouldn't feel, in this case, the heat being thrown against them. Like, I have to dive that deep. And yeah, I have to get out sometimes. So I write different stories that are a bit lighter on the side. And then I come back.
Just open the curtains a little. There's sun outside.
Sunlight. What is that? But you're right. No, I have to get away sometimes. Otherwise, I'll be really depressed.
Can we read one of the darker parts in the next bit after the next question?
Yeah,
okay.
Sure. I can try and find it.
This is something we talked about. I met you at AMC Expo and we had a good long chat. And this is something we discussed. How have your ways of marketing yourself developed since you released your first book?
Of marketing myself?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's something I'm still learning how to get there. Right now, I reach out a lot more to bloggers, to beta readers. Like,
what's a beta reader?
Beta reader is somebody who reads the book before it's released, and they give you, the author, like their ideas or their opinion, what worked, what didn't work.
Do you pay them?
Well, supposedly, the one where I go with my editor, which is Hot Tree Editing, in the price that I pay for the editing, there's actually beta readers inclusive. So I'm guessing the price is for their time to read, but a lot of the beta readers are fans of the author or fans of the genre and just love to give up their time to read a book without having to pay for the book.
My God, it's the biggest scam I've ever heard.
Well, everyone wins, I guess. They get a free book. We get opinions on how to make the book better. It works for everybody, I guess.
So what other marketing tools do you have, like social media? You obviously started doing conventions. How often do you do them?
Yeah. So social media is massive. A lot of my readers are from the States. And obviously the only way for me to connect with them is through Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr. I also use art for a lot of my marketing. I am on DeviantArt under Jacinta Maree. And I commission artists who already have quite a large fan base. And I ask them, hey, can you draw a picture for me? And then they post it on their fan base who hopefully see the picture, think, hey, look, that's cool. That's a good idea. Come over to my page, see what I'm all about. That's how I also reach out. I find art is a lot pleasing on the eye than a book, than looking at all these words. And yeah, I go to conventions, which I love. I love going to conventions. It's not great for money making, but oh my gosh, you can't beat that atmosphere. You can't beat the people coming to your table, especially those that you've seen previously that come back. That's just like, that's the cherry on top of the ice cream right there. I think I go to all the Melbourne ones that I can. So Supernova, Comic-Con, AMC, where I met you. I try and go like to Readers Writers, which is up in Queensland. There's Fictionally Yours, which is also down in Melbourne. There's so many. I try and maybe at least 3, 4, maybe 5 conventions a year if I can. If I can get the timing right, I would go. Yeah, no problem.
And you sold out all your books at AMC. So is there a big gap? Is it as big a loss as you think? Financially?
Financially, unless I don't really charge that much for my books, because I feel like I'm still kind of a newbie here, and I'd rather have the book in the hands of a reader than to have the money in my pocket. So putting that like into consideration, that the table will cost you about $200, nearly $300 plus insurance, plus all what we call swag, which is like all the giveaways, the posters, the posters you put up, the keychains you make,
all the business cards and everything.
Exactly, business cards, postcards that you give away, all of that stuff. And then, of course, you have to pay for the book to get off the printer, which it does add up a lot, and you get pretty close. Like, I know last convention, AMC, I did come out profitable, but not not enough to do anything. I could probably buy myself a meal with the money I made, but that's okay. I'm not there for that.
Let's read a part that's a little bit darker. I'm excited. I'll put the music back on when you're ready.
Oh my gosh, I gotta find it now. Inside the large storage room, there were racks of open coffins stacked in rotating shelves against the wall. In front of us was a large chrome furnace with a short track leading into the mouth. Among the stench of smoke and burnt hair, there was an uncomfortable draft of heat coming out of the furnace. Diesel? I stepped up to the automatic belt and placed my hands on the metal pedals. Please tell me we're not going in there. Don't worry, I told you they won't turn it on until sunset. And what time is it exactly? He shrugged. Hopefully not sunset. Next to the furnace, a large control panel operated the machine. With a simple switch, he opened the door to the furnace, revealing a charred drop into a drum belly below. The smell of decomposed bodies lathered my face and nostrils with a thick musk, licking my skin. I couldn't swallow without both tasting and smelling it at the same time. You're crazy, I gagged. We only have one chance at it. It has to be now. Diesel jabbed up onto the track and shoved Dr. Fitzgerald face down onto the pelt, pinning him under his knee. Don't make me drag you up here too. Shit. I covered my nose and mouth with my sleeve and jumped on. Quickly, I knelt down onto one knee as the slow-moving track entered into the mouth of the furnace. The sudden drop landed us on top of brittle skeletons and a mould of decomposing bodies. It was too dark to see properly, but I could feel the rough edges of the charred bones poke through the shredded meat. I dropped about waist-deep amongst the stiffened corpses as I found it difficult to move my legs. I wrestled to the top of the pile and balanced on the saggy organs as they deflated under my weight. I tried my best not to vomit, but the smell was just so horrendous it could almost form hands and strangle me.
Let's stop there. We'll go to a quick sponsorship announcement break and we'll be right back right after this. You're listening to the Gogoodman Show here with fantasy author Jacinta Maree. Hopefully she just helped her career. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to the Gogoodman Show. We've put the lights back on. We've got rid of the creepy music and we're just going to push forward with the interview.
Yay!
So we asked you a little bit about AMC Expo. How long have you been doing conventions for?
Okay.
When did you get that idea?
I've been attending conventions since I was in high school because of the cosplay anime manga thing. And I started attending as an author when I was about 22 years old. I'm now, God, how old am I? 25. And I started because I had my first book out and it was a great way to reach out, find new readers, show people, hey, look, I'm here too, if you're interested. Like a couple of years now, a few years.
And, yeah, you said you do 4 or 5 conventions a year.
Yeah.
Sometimes travel for them as well. Is it something you can keep up with? Is that, do you think that's a good way?
Oh, yeah.
Something you can keep up?
Absolutely. You cannot beat the exposure that you get and the being able to connect with readers and the people you meet, as example here at these conventions. I've been to a few over in America as well.
Oh, really? Which ones?
I went to the, it's called RT conventions, like Romantic Times. And I've been to, just small book signings in Kansas City and in Minnesota. I went over to Florida for an award ceremony because I got nominated and won Horror of the Year award in 2014 for my Demonic Ghost series, which is weird because it's a young adult romance, not a horror, but I'll take it. Whatever. It just shows what twisted things happening in my head. And I would love to go to more. It's very expensive. The flights over there are the killers.
Yeah.
I would love to do more, but right now I'm sticking to Australia, sticking to my hometown.
And do you see your following gradually increasing?
Yeah, which is fantastic. I do, yeah. I think I do a lot better when I'm face-to-face with people, and I think it's because it's just... I'm a warm person underneath it all. I like to think I'm approachable.
Underneath all the death.
Yeah, just not without reading my book. You think,
And
hey, she
corpses,
seems cool.
yeah.
And then you're like, what the hell's wrong with her? But it is growing, and it's evident in the fact that I've just been nominated for 2 more awards. I found out that about a couple of days ago, I got nominated. Soulless actually got nominated for Cover of the Year. And I got nominated for Author of the Year, which, I have to have some sort of fan base or some sort of support out there to get nominated, which is it's for the Australian Writers Association, Auscom, or Osrom, something like that. Ugh, should probably get that right. But it's really cool.
Is that scary or exciting that you have fans out there that you don't know of?
Oh, if any, I'm more afraid of the people I do know of.
I like keeping tabs on everyone that likes my Facebook page.
Really? I don't really, I don't worry about it. It's massively humbling, and it's just such, it's just amazing to think, hey, someone cares enough. But I get more nervous when someone comes up to me and says, hey, I've read your stuff. I almost feel like I have to apologize. I'm like, I'm sorry. Is this good? I don't know. So far, I've had very good praise. Thank gosh. I've had very good. No one's come up to me and said like, hey, listen, you've wasted 2 hours of my life. I want it back.
2 hours? If you can read that book in 2 hours, geez.
Some people don't go beyond 2 hours if they don't like it. They're like, nah, didn't finish. But I'm very lucky. Either they haven't found me yet.
Oh, outside of writing, what else do you do?
Oh, not much. I used to play basketball, and I played that since I was 12, but I wasn't getting any better. So I'm like, let's just cut the rope.
So you started killing the other players?
Yeah, no, so I'm like, I'll defeat you in my books. No. Then I've also, I play volleyball right now. I go to gym, probably not as often as I should. Just this and that. I'm a big movie buff. I love watching movies, staying indoors.
What's the last movie you watched?
The Witch Hunter, or The Last Witch Hunter. I loved it.
That bald guy, Vin Diesel.
Yeah. I loved it.
Is that his kind of genre?
Probably not. But he did it really well.
Yeah.
I mean, his character was really, really tough, but that's just Vin Diesel. He did it really good. I loved it. It was right up my alley, that type of paranormal, supernatural fantasy thing. I'm like, yes, more of this stuff. I really loved it.
Witch Hunter 2.
Witch Hunter 2, bring it.
And where can people find you?
Oh, yes. I'm all over social media. So if you're looking to get in contact with me, it's Facebook, Jacinta Maree. I think I'm .10 because someone had Jacinta Maree, which sucked. You can find fan pages for all my books. I'm on Twitter, Jacinta Maree 6. Again, someone had Jacinta Maree. DeviantArt, Tumblr. I have a very similar Jacinta Marees in all of them. And of course, to find my book, it's on Amazon, iTunes, Kobo, Barnes & Noble. I'm trying to reach as many of the platforms as I can. And yeah,
Barnes and Noble, that's so American. What about Walmart?
No, I'm not. It's really hard to get into the Aussie market.
Like Dimmicks.
Yeah, not even. Like, I'm mostly in America because I put that down to the fact my publisher for Demonic Ghosts was American. She was in Minnesota called Staccato Publishing. And I've got a new publisher for my next series, which hasn't come out yet, Time Weaver, which is Ragnarok Publishing, and I think they're over in Kentucky or something. So they're all in the States. So it's very hard. Soulless, I did by myself. Soulless, I'm trying to get in the Australian market. And it's very hard doing it by myself, but well, why not?
So before we finish up, I want to know if you've ever used this excuse when somebody's asked you a question.
Next question.
Yes, over here. Right. In episode BF-12, you were battling barbarians while riding a winged Appaloosa. Yet in the very next scene, my dear, you're clearly atop a winged Arabian. Please to explain it.
Yeah. Well, whenever you notice something like that, a wizard did it.
I see. All right, yes. But in episode AG-4...
Wizard.
For Glaven out.
Have you ever used that excuse?
A wizard's done it. Oh my gosh. Well, not in those words. If there has been such a massive error or plot hole, I would think I'd say, yeah, a ghost did it. A spirit did it. Because just accept it.
Just thought I'd throw you one final curveball. Yeah, so thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been good. It was great to meet you at AMC. Finally got you into the studio, and I think we're going to team up somehow, maybe do a giveaway through my Facebook page, or we'll figure something like that out.
Yep.
And yeah, it's definitely not the end of our friendship.
Yay!
Let's go to some music. We got AC/DC Rock and Roll Train before we move on, and I'll find something cool to do in the second half of the show. I have a whole website full of cool interviews. So we'll be right back right after this. It's bang on 3 o'clock. You're listening to 88.3 Southern FM, the Elaine Gogoodman Show.